What is going on, everyone? Happy Monday. And happy the World Cup has started and Qatar sucks. And welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts. And today, like every day, we're coming at you live from our studio here in Las Vegas, Nevada with our daily live show. Today's content includes lots of talk about Grayscale. Will they have to liquidate their Bitcoin? We dug in on Grayscale. We dug in on Genesis. And we dug in on DCG. We're going to talk about all that, likely scenarios. We also have our weekly highlighted coin from Forrest. He goes over Solana, what your options are if you're holding Solana. That's going to be great. And also some just overall general crypto news plus an FTX update. But before we get into content, also one more thing. We have two special guests joining us today. We have Crypto Keeper and Blockchain Crusader, a.k.a. Nick and Miguel, joining us from Debate Crypto in about 1 hour. Excited to get the content going. But first, I have to introduce you to other co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, we package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we are also going to be live covering the World Cup. The World Cup info. Yeah.
What is live coveraging?
Live coveraging is, it's like live coverage, but in a ING kind of way. And I'm not talking about retirement portfolios. That's right. So hold on. Before we start talk crypto, man, I gotta say, did you hear Qatar straight ban beer from all of the?
Bro, how are you gonna have Budweiser? How are you gonna have Budweiser as a sponsor and you don't sell it? What they are? Well,
you know, there's gonna be no shortage of advertisements around for Budweiser. So,
but they just can't get it there.
Can't drink.
They just can't drink it. But you know what's funny is they are the first host nation to ever lose their first game.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, how did Qatar get in? Every single host country gets an automatic bid. The thing is, usually wherever these games are held, the host country is actually a good team and they would make the cut anyways. But Qatar, a lot of people are hating on it because they took Italy. Italy didn't qualify. Colombia didn't qualify. All these countries that are better than Qatar didn't get in, but Qatar got in, and they're probably going to not win a single game.
Well, you know, you say that host countries are good ones, but here's the thing. Last World Cup was Russia, and Russia has historically not been a very good country. However, they did shock the world by getting out of the group format and getting into was it round of 16? I think it is.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That was the first time they ever advanced. So maybe there is going to be a turnaround for Qatar, but more than likely, absolutely not, because they're doo-doo. You know what's not doo-doo is this like button sign here I got. Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing? Can y'all hit the like button for us, please? We would really appreciate it. And also, it's Thanksgiving week. We won't be streaming on Thanksgiving or on Friday. So you only get 3 days of us. We'll be streaming a little earlier because we got family in town this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you can catch us promptly at 10 a.m. Vegas time tomorrow and Wednesday as well.
Promptly.
Yes, that is correct. You know what else is promptly happening? We're promptly testing.
First, I have breaking news.
The 16K mark.
I have breaking news, guys. This isn't crypto. But it's one of the largest companies. They just adopted Polygon. Looks like they are about to go under. It has been confirmed.
What?
Yeah, if you follow us on Sin City Crypto, at Sin City Crypto 1. So I'm just going to share the tweets we did yesterday. So breaking news, Disney's going bankrupt. Jim Cramer did say, Disney, pay $98 if you can. That will be nothing versus where it goes. And then he followed up by saying, Disney, let's get this done. To which I said, confirmation of Disney going under has been confirmed. And then he tweeted, new day at Disney. So glad we held on. Club members get ready for the run, which is a confirmation of the original confirmation that had been confirmed. 1,000% chance Disney goes to zero. You heard it here first, guys. You heard it here first. What are your thoughts on that? What would happen if Disney goes under?
Hold on. What in the foot are you spreading around here? I need confirmation of what the hell you're talking
about. Guys. Of course I'm kidding. But it's just funny. Jim Cramer. This guy's a clown. Okay, now we can get into real crypto. Just wanted to, I want to give myself a laugh at the very.
So is Disney? Are they good? They still
yeah. So Bob Iger
Mermaid,
came. Bob Iger came back.
Okay,
and he's a big metaverse guy. So there's a lot of noise going around. Disney might get into the metaverse.
So as we mentioned here, Bitcoin is now under 16,000, ladies and gentlemen. We are not going to play the bull sound because it's very bearish. Do we have a bear sound, Rocco?
I was betting the king game.
Okay. Thank you, Rocco. Appreciate it. So we got Bitcoin coming in at $15,968. Okay. Not surprised that it broke under 16K, right? We had already went under 16K. You had a lot of cascading bankruptcies and insolvencies, and obviously crypto.
Plus the hacker apparently, and we're going to get into that here in a little bit.
And also, we have a pretty red day today, as you can see here across the board. Nasdaq's down 1%. So, as expected. Now, my question or my kind of thought experiment here is, or maybe you can give us a little insight on the TA side, is will we hold 15,000? Because obviously that is a big psychological number, 15,000 being a nice big round numbers. And, it charts the psyche of the human is they want to buy it round numbers. So
here's the thing too.
So I was going to say, it's just like, what do you think, man? Under 15 or what? Tell the viewers what they want to know.
Well, I want to start with this first. We're going to swap over to my laptop here, but Robin mentioned red day in the traditional markets. Well, it's a green day for the Dixie, the dollar cost index. Essentially, this measures the dollar strength against other foreign currencies, and there is COVID cases are rising in China. So there's fears of another shutdown.
I thought we were done with this.
We're not done. You know what's funny is a lot of those are asymptomatic, but we're not going to get into that. This is not what the show is about.
I saw videos, and maybe it's FUD, but I saw videos of the Chinese people breaking down barriers because they were tired of, because even the people of China who were very in line with orders from government.
They're kind of forced to, man.
At some point, people are going to get fed up, right? Even in a communist nation, even in a regime that the people just follow blindly, at some point people are gonna get tired of that mess, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I saw them breaking down barriers, bro. I saw them protesting, and I don't know, man. I just don't see it happening. I mean, but then again, who saw any of this COVID stuff happening in the first place? So
yeah, and who saw it dragging up? But. We know when the dollar gets stronger, risk on assets get weaker, aka Bitcoin. But speaking of Bitcoin, I'm just going to swap over to the Bitcoin daily chart here. We are kind of trading sideways, of course. We did hit a double bottom on the 16K, which is good. But if we kind of zoom out, I mean, guys, for us to take a look at levels outside of like under 16K, we're going to have to swap over to the weekly chart. And so the first level I'm seeing, which we blew through this 19,000 level. So the next real level, and I'm talking big time frame, big level, is going to be 12K. And this is on a super macro long-term outlook, right?
Did you say super macro?
Super macro, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So 12K, I don't see us going under 12K, but you never know. But again, we're ranging between this 15.8 to 16.2 level. We had this massive weekly candle close from 20. It opened at about 21,000 and it closed at 16.4. So you're talking about a 20 to 25% dip in a week, which is a lot. I mean, we've been bleeding for a long time, right? We've been bleeding since last November. We've been bleeding for over a year, and then to see this sort of massive red candle at what we should be at the tail end of a bear market, which I think Rob and I both agree, and I'm sure you guys agree in the chat as well, that this FTX debacle and what's to come, because it's not over. This is going to draw out this bear market for at least another 8 to 12 months, right?
Yeah. It's like, there was problems in the family, and there was some shade going on. Everybody thought the family reunion was coming up and everything was gonna be nice and dandy. And all of a sudden Thanksgiving comes around, and Unky comes up hella drunk and starts throwing shade around.
You say Unky?
Yeah, Unky. And anyways, and so he sets back the family's, chi. I don't know. What's a good term for a family getting along with each other?
Family bonds.
Synergy.
I don't know.
Family.
Bam bam.
Family.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, yeah. So what we were expecting with Bitcoin to kind of go through the lulls of the bear market and start working its way up. We've now been set back thanks to FTX. I do want to give a shout out to some of our newest members or new people here watching. If you're new, if this is your first time checking us out, make sure you say hello so I can drop an hola at you. So we got Huffy, Seek, and Hunt. We got Nate, La Pena, and Cindy. And then we also have One Insomniac and Mech Vision. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Probably was La Peña, but it's okay.
La Peña?
Possibly.
Oh, yeah. Possibly. And what about my boy João? He's my Portuguese.
Wow.
Meu português amigo. Ele está aqui a ver o Sin City Crypto da Brasil.
Micholimo.
Vou fazer show só em português.
Yeah. What's the rest of the market looking like, Robin?
E também temos italiano aqui também.
Yeah, Juma Leca. Okay.
Italiano fala
Juta la
também
Bitcoin.
português.
Juta la crypto.
Italiano. A galera quer fazer show todo português.
There you go. You know what? I remember my wife was like, she was making fun of Portuguese. She was like, because Thanksgiving's coming up. We got to go to Thanksgiving dinner. A lot of Portuguese going around in there, and she was like, I was like, yeah. Have you learned Portuguese? She's like, yeah. All it is a bunch of shushes. She's like, hush, 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 hush. And I'm just like, you actually said you put together a good sentence there. I'm like, surprisingly, told me I was handsome.
Well,
anyways, let's get back to crypto.
Please, for the love of
if you
God.
didn't notice, also CoinMarketCap is celebrating. Here, look, they're celebrating the World Cup too. So look, you get a little soccer goal pop up. The O pops up and
damn,
boom!
that's pretty cool.
Bitcoin down for the day on the 24 hours. You can see where we're at on the weekly. If you see we're kind of in some ugly territory. Obviously, where we're at for the month. Not looking good. Crypto bubbles. So Near Protocol down 22%.
This is over the week.
Yeah, for the week. Ooh, yeah, my bad. So Near Protocol down for the week. Also for the day as well by 10%. Hobie Global tokens, the only thing that's up. This did take a big beating because all the exchange tokens got sold off during the FTX debacle. So
let me ask you a question, Robin. Let me ask you a hypothetical question, okay? So last week everything was dipping. OKB, which is OKX's token, was pumping. Bitfinex's token was pumping.
Okay.
KuCoin's token was pumping. And now Huobi's token is pumping. Does this tell you that maybe the company is buying up their own tokens?
No, there was just a massive sell-off.
Okay, so then why are people buying the token back?
Because it was oversold.
Yeah,
and
but
so whether or not
so
you
is
believe
Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, but it was way more oversold. If you're a trader, you're looking to get in a position, you're trying to make gains,
I don't buy that.
you're trying to identify projects that are extremely oversold, and you're trying to buy in on them. I don't think that all of a sudden there's a shift in mentality where people just want to have this new revelation of hey, I want to buy some exchange tokens. I believe in them. I don't think that's it. I think you have short-term investors and traders that are identifying that a project or a product in the form of an exchange token is at a very good value in the short term.
Disagree. Completely disagree.
I mean, if you would have bought a Hobie Global token a week ago, you'd be up 10%. Or no, if you bought it today, if you bought it 24 hours ago, you'd be up 10%.
Dude, we're seeing massive outflows, right? People aren't on exchanges like they were 3-4 months ago.
So you're saying the only reason OKB, that Hobie Global token,
I just think it's
that
weird.
Crypto.com token, you think all of them are only up because all of them are printing more tokens in an environment
the tokens that have utility like Crow, which they have the Kronos chain, and BNB, those are actually down with the rest of the market. What you're seeing with these tokens that have no utility outside of low trading fees, Huobi, KuCoin,
don't kid yourself,
OKB.
Don't kid yourself. Crypto.com does not have utility.
Well, it has a chain. It has a wallet. It has a chain. Okay?
It has an ecosystem built, but nobody uses it.
It's a little weird that the rest of the market is down, but these coins continue to pump. To me, with what we've seen with FTX, I wouldn't doubt if these exchanges are buying up their own tokens in fear of getting liquidated because they're leveraged against them. That's all I'm saying. And you can't tell me that that is a crazy, outlandish statement with what's been going on. That's all I'm saying, man. It's a little weird to me. It's a little weird. That's all I'm saying.
It is
somebody
a crazy,
clip this segment.
Outlandish statement
not
that you're coming
outlandish.
up with.
How is it outlandish?
Nobody's printing tokens right now.
It's not about printing tokens. They're buying back their own tokens that are hitting the market. Because you can't tell me people are dumping Bitcoin and Ethereum and Polygon and Cardano and, I'm just going to hodl my Huobi token. BS.
Once again,
complete
you
BS.
referenced Binance and Crypto.com, which are the two biggest projects in exchange tokens.
And their tokens are trading in line with what the rest of the market is doing.
But we all know that there's bigger swings the further down you go in the market cap list. And so if Crypto.com is down...
OKB is in the top 20.
OKB is in the top 20?
Yes.
Let me check this.
Go ahead, check it.
Let me see.
OKB. Hey, chat, what do you guys think? Are you with Robin and you think it's just traders trading the tokens? Or put a 1? If you're with me and you think it's a little suspect...
OKB is in number 34. What are you talking about?
OKB is not number 34. Okay, OKB's
okay. So all of a sudden OKB
34. Okay,
flipped
OKB's 34.
Chronos,
Where's
which is
KCS?
20.
Where's KCS? Where's HT?
That's way down here, man. And so, anyways, you're gonna get further. HT is at 51.
Mm-hmm. KCS is at 55.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing is these are gonna lose more when they sell off, and so you're gonna have a bigger rebound, bigger chance. I'm just telling you, man. There's degens out here. If you're looking for gains, it's very simple. I used to do this all the time. I'm not doing it currently, but it's very simple. You pull up your chart. You're like, what's down for the what's the most down this week? That's why people look at this 24-hour chart and the 7-day chart on the percentages. You're like, hey, what is down the most for the last week? And then you're like, okay, this is oversold. It's due for a bounce back. Care less what the name of the token is. It could be freaking Shiba Inu. It could be an NFT project. It could be a token. If you think it's going to be around for 2 or 3 weeks and you know it's extremely oversold, you buy it. And the ones that move or that are going to be the most oversold are the ones that are further down the list. And so Binance, you know what? Binance, I will actually argue, didn't fall because when all this debacle happened, remember, Binance was the one token that was in the green as everything else was collapsing. And so you could make an argument that it was outperforming Bitcoin. And so if anything is not going to get bought because of where it was Binance. Crypto.com got hit hard, but I think there's still a lot of weary investors. And so, hey, should I buy Crypto.com coin right now in a short-term investment? Hell no. A lot of question marks over there. But you know who doesn't have question marks?
You know, Robin, what is this? Okay, so this is Huobi token, okay?
That looks like a camelback.
This is
just saying.
This is
I know a
Huobi
camel
token.
when I see it. That's a camel.
What looks more oversold? This or this? This or this? What's more oversold, Robin?
What was the other one? What was the first one?
This?
What's that? That is hella oversold. It's got a big camelback.
Look at the indicator. That's not
Ethereum. It's literally, look at that hump right there, bro.
Dude,
you telling me it's not going to
right here is where it tells you if it's oversold or overbought. Now tell me which one looks more oversold to you.
I'm just telling you. You ask me, your question was, why are these exchange tokens pumping when everything else is dumping?
Terrible take.
And my answer is, hey, it sold off massively. That camel hump, that was a big sell-off. And I'm just like, yeah, give me some camels. And I ain't talking about the cigarettes, bro. I'm talking about, give me some of that camel hump, baby.
All right.
We good?
Yeah.
You good?
I'm good.
You sure?
I do have some good news with Bitcoin, guys. All right. Look, there's always a silver lining to everything. Let's start here. I'm going to swap over to my laptop. So this is from Glassnode. This is Bitcoin wallets. In pink, you have 0.1. Green, you have 1. Yellow, you have 100. And purple, you have 1,000 Bitcoin, okay? So take a look at the trend of what the whales and what the shrimps are doing, right? What institutions, the whales, and what small retail investors are doing. We are consistently making all-time highs on the whole coiners, right? the green. We've been making all-time highs since what? November? No, since hold on, let me zoom out here. Excuse me. We've been on this upward trajectory, I can argue, since 2018. You can even take into account here since 2019. So for the better part of the last 2 to 3 years, small money shrimps have been continuing to accumulate Bitcoin, even through this whole FTX thing. You can see we're at all-time highs in Bitcoin whole coiners, while the whales are dumping, getting liquidated, whatever the case may be. So when you hear crypto is dead, Bitcoin is dead, no, it's not dead, right?
It's not?
I believe it was Will Clemente on Twitter. He said, when Mt. Gox was hacked and all that Bitcoin was stolen, they accounted for 70% of the trading volume of Bitcoin. And guess what? Bitcoin survived. FTX only accounts for 10% of the trading volume in the entire market. So Bitcoin is going to survive. Crypto, not all crypto, is going to survive. Will Solana survive? Who knows? Do you think Solana is going to survive?
Yeah, it'd be good. I mean, there's more risk in holding Solana in the long term versus some of the other top 20 projects. I just say I think they have the greatest risk because of their exposure to FTX's venture capital investment. And also there's a lot of partnerships between FTX and Alameda Research and them. So it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world to hear that fundamentally they get set back. They had some kind of partnership tie that nobody saw, or I don't know. I'm just saying that there's a little bit more risk in the long term for Solana versus, say, Binance versus Ethereum, Cardano, XRP. I might be able to throw it in there. There's still risk there on XRP because of the lawsuit, but yeah. So I think there's more risk there, but in my opinion, I think they'll be fine. But I wouldn't touch them because there's going to be tons of gains in all the other projects. And so why take on unnecessary risk in a project like Solana that has a couple asterisks with it, or a couple possibilities that something could go wrong, when you could just full send on Ethereum and just YOLO into that and be like, yo, we good. We Gucci.
All right, let's keep this moving because we got the debate crypto boys coming on the show in about 30 minutes.
I'm excited. I was on his show last week.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Good. Well, you threw me a side-handed compliment. So let's get into what everyone is talking about. Grayscale. What happens if Genesis goes under? What happens if DCG goes under? Will Grayscale have to liquidate their Bitcoin? Well, we're going to keep you up to date. So Grayscale Investments came out and said our products, digital assets remain safe and secure. Remember, Grayscale is a subsidiary, a sister company of the larger DCG Digital Currency Group. They say that their custody of the digital assets underlying Grayscale's digital asset products is unaffected, but it is not willing to disclose wallet addresses or provide on-chain proof of reserves. It goes on. Crypto giant Grayscale says providing on-chain proof of reserves threaten its clients' security. Crypto asset manager Grayscale said it doesn't want to provide precise on-chain proof of reserves because of security risks. And then here we have Coinbase came out and kind of try to quell some fears here. And unfortunately, my friends, I am not able to make this larger, but pretty much says, hey, we hold their assets in a completely separate custodian wallet. It is audited. It's registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. We vouch. The money's good. Grayscale is good. The Bitcoin's there. Now, Robin, a lot of people were concerned, right? They said, oh my God, they're not willing to come out with the wallet addresses. They're not willing to do a proof of reserves. That means they don't have it.
Okay, there's two things to think about when it comes to issues with the company, issues with Grayscale, issues with Bitcoin. One thing I want to say, first of all, before we even discuss anything, there's 4 different parties, if not 5, I think, that are involved in, these are companies and branches of government that oversee the Bitcoin Trust, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC. And so Grayscale, they offer a stock that's represented, I forget the ticker of it, but you can buy the Bitcoin stock, and they go, and a trustee will hold it. So you buy, say $100 worth of Bitcoin. You buy $100 in stock, which I think the stock is $8 per stock.
$8.35.
Yeah. And so they'll go and buy $100 worth, and then they in turn will go buy Bitcoin, and Grayscale will buy Bitcoin, and then they'll give it to a trustee, and the trustee will say, okay, we got this amount of Bitcoin, and then they go and custody it, or the Coinbase trust custodies and secures the said amount of Bitcoin. And it's very simple. This is all audited by a third-party company, which is forget the name of it, but they go and they audit it once a year officially, and they also do quarterly audits as well.
Guys, not to mention, Grayscale, the trust, has to submit paperwork filings to the SEC every quarter.
Yeah, every quarter. And so everything that all their purchases, all their Bitcoin holdings, everything, like top to bottom, like, liabilities, everything, profits, it's all reported quarterly. And then the trustee basically is the one that, the trustee is two different companies. They're like law firms. And so the trustee will make sure that, the assets are where they need to be and that they're secure. And then they use Coinbase. And so there's that. So I'm just going to tell you right now, the Bitcoin is not at all vulnerable for theft, bankruptcy, somebody stealing it. It's just not. I'm telling you, it's not. Now, with that said, Grayscale is a company that right now, I'm sure has some economic issues in the same way that every single company that is associated with Grayscale right now, or every single company that's associated with Bitcoin right now, or even crypto in general, is down on profits. And so the company could theoretically go under. There's nothing saying that Grayscale couldn't be underwater financially. And if they were to go bankrupt, that would be devastating. It would cause shockwaves and pandemonium through the streets.
DCG or Grayscale?
Grayscale. Yeah, DCG even a bigger factor, but just say Grayscale. But what I want you to know is that even if that scenario did happen, the assets of the trustee would just they're not legally allowed to sell it. Nobody would even have permission to sell it.
Well, I actually have a breakdown of what could possibly happen.
Okay,
I'm gonna share with you guys.
But anyways, what I'm saying is that if Grayscale went under, if they did, the Bitcoin's fine. You're not gonna if you're invested in Grayscale Trust, you're not at risk for losing it, but you're at risk for an extreme price shock because the news would tank the market, and then you might have difficulties selling it in the short term because of who's custodying it, who's running the trust, and all of that. So there could be some major headaches, but you wouldn't be at risk of losing your Bitcoin because of the way it's set up.
Well, here's the way it works, right? So this is a shout out to Will Clemente for tweeting this out. So if the trustee is forced to liquidate, the trust will be liquidated under the sponsor's direction. The sponsor, on behalf of the trust, will engage directly with either accessible Bitcoin exchanges or over-the-counter Bitcoin markets to liquidate the trust Bitcoin as promptly as possible while obtaining the best fair value possible. The proceeds therefrom will be applied and distributed in the following order, blah, 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 blah. It is expected that the sponsor will be subject to the same regulatory requirements as the trust, and therefore the markets available to the sponsor will be the same markets available to the trust. That's what you guys got to remember, is DCG does not control the Bitcoin in Grayscale. It's literally a trust, right? Someone else handles it for you. Just the same way you have a trust in your life or you have a will or a trust. It's the same thing. Someone else isn't the executioner, and they have a fiduciary responsibility because it is a publicly traded trust. They have a fiduciary responsibility to its shareholders, which means they have to make the best decision in terms of financials in regards to their shareholders. And so And here's the thing: Grayscale is a separate part of DCG. So if you're worried about DCG going under, or if you're worried about Genesis going under, they're not tied at the hip. Yeah, they send money back to each other, promissory notes, they lend each other money. But it's not to say that if one goes under, the other one's going to go under. No, that's not the case. And we did do a little bit of digging into DCG, just some facts, not really like we're saying they're going to go under anything, but interesting chain of events that's happened with them, and how much money they've spent on buying back their own shares and raising money and the portfolio they hold. So we're getting into all that here.
I want to know what the chat kind of thinks. If you're scared, or if you're worried or concerned about what would happen with Bitcoin and the crypto ecosystem, if you're worried about these companies going under, if there's exponential risk, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that this is all like FUD and you think nothing's going to happen, it's just people worrying about it's another tether bomb. Remember that? Like tether bomb or circle bomb or whatever it is. And people are like, yo, the streets are going to blow up. And it's just nonsense. It's nonsense. Okay. Nonsense. Put a 2 in the chat. 1, fear. 2, nonsense. I want to know what the people think.
And I want to follow up with this. So I pulled this up from Yahoo. So every quarter, right, they have to file what's called Form 8K. This is to the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States of America. All right. And so what's interesting to me is on the bottom here, this was October 3rd. Okay. So on October 3rd, in connection with the entry into the distribution and marketing agreement with Grayscale Securities, the sponsor and Genesis agreed to terminate the distribution and marketing agreement dated November 15, 2019. Among the sponsor and trust and Genesis, pursuant to which Genesis assisted the sponsor in generating or distributing shares. As a result, effective October 3rd of this year, Genesis is no longer acting as a distributor and marketer of the shares of the trust. Genesis is no longer acting as an authorized participant of the trust, but will continue to serve as a liquidity provider. So there was shakeup in the company that was happening before this whole FTX debacle happened. Does that mean that DCG knew that Genesis was on thin ice and then FTX put it over the top? That's all up for speculation. But hey.
Seems like the chat is kind of split here on there's a lot of 1s and 2s in here, so seems pretty even on that consensus. Now, I do want to give we got a bunch of new people in here, so just real quick, I'm going to give it a little shout out. We got Vinny Y, Dev D, David Digital. We got Crypto Mike, Crypto Poppy, Meek Vision, Ray G, Crypto Es El Futuro, Felix. We got Wayne, Best Legend, Stephen J, Natalie, Venom, Gordon, Nick D, Dashing, Mep, Radi, and Hola! Welcome, Sin City Crypto.
All right, guys. We'll get into DCG and Grayscale a little more here in a second, but I want to take a break from that. I want to talk about Solana. So if you're new to this channel, one of our longtime guests, I feel like he's kind of part of the channel now, but he has his own channel. Forrest from Crypto Stackers Pro. He does
definitely part of the channel now. Part of the fam.
Exactly. He has a weekly segment he does for us, a weekly coin spotlight. And this week he did Solana. And in this video, he breaks down Solana, the metrics, the price. So if you're a Solana holder or if you know a Solana holder, I would get them in the stream right now because we're going to share the video. We're going to talk about it. He gives scenarios of if you're holding Solana, what are your options? If you're looking to get in, what are some price levels? And so let's go ahead and take a peek, and we'll stop this intermittently to go ahead and discuss. All right, Rocco, we can go ahead and pull it up.
Let's talk about Solana. What should you do if you're caught up in Solana and you're looking to reduce your exposure? And what should you do if you want to increase your exposure to Solana for the next bull market? Is now a good time to be accumulating. All right, so nothing here is financial advice, first of all. Second of all, let's dive in. Solana is thus far in its lifespan a bull market cryptocurrency, meaning it performs well in the bull market, and so far in the bear market has performed quite poorly. Up here at the top, we've got Bitcoin's price. This is just simply to identify the bear market and the bull markets, right? Bear markets and bull markets. Now, I have Chainlink as an example here, because Chainlink is the opposite. Chainlink's a bear market coin, right? Chainlink dominance, right? This is Bitcoin price. This is Solana dominance and Chainlink dominance, meaning market share. How does it perform against the rest of the market? Doesn't necessarily mean its price, right? These are not price charts for Solana and Chainlink. These are market share charts. So when this is going up, it simply means that Chainlink is outperforming. It's taking up market share against the rest of the crypto market. And you can see that it does that in a bear market, right? And then in the bull market, while everything else was going up in terms of price or dominance, Chainlink dominance was actually dropping. However, recently in this bear market, we've seen a shift where Chainlink is starting to take up dominance again, right? We'll see if that can.
So I'm going to stop it there. And so he mentions that in the bull market, Chainlink dominance goes down. In the bear market, Chainlink's dominance goes up. So what are your thoughts on that, Robin? You think Chainlink is a good hedge in bear markets?
It is. And why is that? I mean, if you think about it, it's because it doesn't have a lot of retail appeal. And so when retail comes in, pours money into the markets, Chainlink isn't exactly something that appeals to retail. It's essentially a tool that's used, and I know they offer staking, and I know they have a growth in utility, but at the end of the day, Chainlink is an Oracle service that is used by layer ones or even layer twos as the information go-to, and so. It's not that it doesn't do a lot for the user. You're not transacting it. You're not using it to go to purchase or sell NFTs. You're not using it to go out and do DeFi. At the end of the day, when that
it's a back end crypto.
It's a back end crypto. And so back end cryptos are necessary. And when the retail leaves and people aren't messing around in DeFi, people aren't so interested in NFTs, and we're not over here in this whole community with meme coins, it goes back to where we were. Let's build this ecosystem. Let's build it out. And if the money leaves this area, it's going somewhere else. And why not go somewhere that is basically building and creating partnerships with everybody? And so, yeah, I mean, that's why we're at where we're at.
I have no qualms to that. All right, let's return.
Continues, but Chainlink historically has been a good performer in a bear market. Now, Solana has not performed well in a bear market. It's only experienced a bull market, and thus far, this bear market, it has gone down in dominance significantly. So the uncertainty that's on the table here of how long this bear market's going to last. Could we be coming up on a bottom soon? Sure, maybe. But if you're uncertain or you think that there's going to be a longer bear market and you don't want Solana exposure for the foreseeable future, the next 3, 6, maybe even 12 months, you have a couple options of how you could reduce your Solana exposure, and then you could always get back into Solana at a later date once a bull market becomes more likely or more apparent. All right. So if you already own Solana and you're trying to get rid of exposure, or even, not necessarily trying to get rid of exposure, but if you already own Solana, here's kind of your 4 options. Number 1 is to just hodl through it. I do think that Solana will be around next bull market, and I do think that it can bounce back next bull market, regardless of how low it goes. And I'll give you a perfect example. Cardano. Cardano saw almost a 99% drop, 98 point something percent drop from bull market peak in 2017, 2018 to bear market bottom in March of 2020, right? And then it did like a 300x or 188x, sorry, not a 300x, almost a 200x. So regardless of how low Solana goes, if it sticks around in the next bull market, which I think that it will, right, you can see insane gains and it can come back in and make a new all-time high. So I do think Solana will be solid. However, at this point,
all right, I'm stopping it there. You think it's fair to, and this is no slight against Forrest, right? Because this is my opinion and your opinion. You think it's fair to compare Cardano to Solana, right?
It makes so much sense.
It does?
Yeah, because when Cardano first came out, it was all speculation. There was nothing built. I mean, essentially it was a token. They had the layer 1, but There was no smart contracts. There was no utility. It was all a promise of what's to come. And the price shot up to over $1, man. And I mean, if you looked at it like compared to the rest of the ecosystem, you're like, yo, why did the price get up this high in 2017? Like, it fundamentally doesn't make any sense because it's all speculation on what's to come. And then comes the bear market. Everyone's like, well, why did we invest in all of these? Because Cardano was one of hundreds, if not thousands, of different speculative projects that said they were going to do this or said they were going to do that. Obviously, in hindsight, you can look back at Cardano and be like, yo, I was stupid. I should have bought Cardano at a penny. It was at a penny forever. And so was another 100 projects that launched on this premise and this promise of development and how it's going to change the world. Now, Cardano did deliver, or at least they are currently in the midst of executing the roadmap.
If Cardano took the VC route, they would have already been up and running with 10,000 dApps and blah, blah, blah. But they didn't.
It doesn't matter where their money came from. The fact is,
what do you mean it doesn't matter where the money came from? You're saying a massive infusion of capital can't upstart your business faster?
It doesn't matter. They had a massive they had a massive amount of capital raised from retail instead of VC. So either way, the money there
were 3 funding rounds for Solana, bro.
Okay,
and Cardano had 1 ICO. That's it.
Yeah, and they were in the top 10 last in the 2017 bull market. And so there was so much money poured into their ICO. There was so much money that came into it, to their ecosystem.
But there's only so many tokens you can sell.
It doesn't. They sold a lot.
They did.
They got to over $1 in 2017, man. Like, they were killing the game, and they had nothing. There was nothing. There wasn't even a smart contract. All there was a wallet address. You could send stuff back and forth. That was it.
I don't know.
And so, at the end of the day, whether or not I start a business from investors that are, at a meetup, at a conference, and I pass out tickets, and I'm like, yo, who wants to invest? Or I get it from 3 people that own companies, that invest in companies. It doesn't matter. They got the money to start it up. Now, there might be less sell pressure from one entity. There might be less sell pressure. And when you saw the price dump, it was because, hey, there was a ton of retail that poured into it. And then a ton of retail was like, okay, I'm done with crypto. And they threw their hands up. Venture capital can be a little different. Venture capital, they can look at it in a long-term vision, be like, hey, we got it in early. We don't care. We bought it 10 cents or whatever it is. We're fine. We're nowhere at 2 cents. We'll hold through. We don't care. Retail's a little different. That's why you saw the price dip down as hard as it did. And so I'm just comparing the fact that Solana overpriced when it came out, and then now it's way down because of fear. Cardano was way overpriced when it came out, and then because of the fear of the bear market, and if crypto's coming back, or if the ICO thing, or this was Cardano gonna come back, that was a big fear, and it did come back. But there was 100,000 other projects that didn't come back that were very similar to Cardano as far as promises and roadmaps. And I'm looking at Solana; it's very similar, man. It's very similar. You can make an argument that there, like I said, just literally 15 minutes ago, I'm like, I don't know. There's fear right now in my own personal insight that it could not come back. It could be something fundamentally wrong.
Pretty risky, I would say, right now. Robin, would you ever wear a suit and tie on the show?
Sure. I was, it's funny you said that, because yesterday I was like, for our FOMC meeting for the interest rate, I was thinking about wearing a suit and tie.
Maybe I'll wear one too. We'll see. All right, let's get back to the video.
We need trumpet music.
Oh, speaking of Trump, guys, so Donald Trump, Andrew Tate, and Jordan Peterson were let back on Twitter. Their accounts are reactivated, whether you love him or hate him, just because you disagree with someone.
You know who isn't coming back? Alex Jones.
Yeah. Elon had. We're not going to get into it.
Yeah, he threw some shade that way.
All right, let's get back to Solana. So here's where Forrest is going to go over what are your options with Solana if you're hodling, if you, So let's go ahead and
paid off if you held on to Cardano. But you could have had that capital allocated towards Chainlink and then jumped into Cardano up here and gotten most of the gains, right? So you could rotate your capital, right? If you don't want to hodl through a bear market, you could just rotate your capital, and you could rotate it into something that you feel better about. Maybe that's Bitcoin, maybe that's Ethereum, maybe that's Chainlink, right? Maybe that's, just de-risking into stablecoins. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But there's other stuff. But the idea behind rotating your capital is putting that capital to use somewhere you think it's either going to be safer or more productive, right? Safer or more productive. So me personally, I was pretty exposed to Solana. I rotated some into Chainlink. I think Chainlink's going to be a more productive asset in the next 3 to 6 months. We've got a catalyst coming up.
And that is why I love Forrest so much. Is Forrest has been a consistent advocate of Solana, talks about Solana, he's buying Solana, DCAing. But when new information comes out, he's not the type of person, and no one should be in the space that's giving out education and information to people, is to just, because you don't want to be wrong, is to say, no, like some people did during Luna, no, we're going to keep DCAing, no, we're going to keep buying. And so this is why we love Forrest so much, and we definitely think you guys should too. Unless you have something else to add, Robin, and go back to the video.
Love you too, man. Love you.
Wow, you say you love you to Forrest, but not your business partner, huh?
I hate you.
I think Polygon and Quant are really solid cryptocurrencies, but they may be a little bit overpriced right now. Ethereum coming up on a really good accumulation levels, below $1,000 if we end up dropping. Could be a good rotation. There's a third play, and we'll get into de-risking in just a second. Third play is to maintain Solana exposure through Solana NFTs. Now, this is a higher beta play or a higher risk play. And this is a personal decision. Obviously, you want to do your own research, but there are certain Solana NFT projects, particularly DGods and Utes. Those are the two largest projects in the Solana ecosystem, that obviously are going to perform really well if Solana performs well, right? So if you get into these NFTs, if you get into Solana NFTs, and Solana bounces back, chances are these NFTs are going to do extraordinarily well, right? But these NFT projects may decouple a little bit from Solana in terms of their dollar pricing, right? So we've got the DCods chart up here in the floor price floor price graph. You actually see that this bottomed out in this drop at about 120 Solana, and it's already bounced all the way up to 280 Sol. So if this trend continues and just as this reprices back up to the upside, Solana is so cheap that these could end up being worth a lot of Sol. And this could be a high risk, high reward play in that, well, maybe in the bear market, the NFTs appreciate. And again, it really depends on, do you think NFTs are going to perform well in a bear market? That's a question you have to ask yourself. I'm not sure, to be quite honest. But historically, this has been a really solid project. And as Solana's price is going down, right, if these maintain their value in dollars, right, the Solana price would need to go, or the value of these NFTs in Solana would need to go up. Again, this is higher risk, higher reward. Meanwhile, you've got Utes, which is the sub collection of DGods, which launched, bottomed out around 37 Sol, and now is rising on a steady uptrend around 112 Sol. Is this high risk? Yes, I cannot reiterate that enough. But it may allow you to capture the best of both worlds. These may continue to rise in Solana price to offset any further downside in the actual dollar price of Solana, if that makes sense. Right. Let's go back over to our chart here. And then your fourth option, if you already own Solana and you may be trying to de-risk or decide what to do with that Solana exposure, you could just de-risk on to stables on any sort of bounce, right? Any sort of bounce. Now, we are at very oversold levels, and it's looking rough here, not only for Solana, but for the entire crypto market. We don't know what's going to happen in the foreseeable future. But what we do see is that historically, right, for any cryptocurrency, right, when you get oversold in this below the green easy band region, you're very likely to get some sort of a relief rally in the near future. Okay, so this is actually a familiar pattern, right? We stab down below the green easy bands, right? We hold resistance, and then we make another low, printing bullish divergence, right? Do you see that, guys? Bullish divergence, right? So what have we done just on a faster time frame here for Solana? We stabbed below the green easy bands. We came up, tested it as resistance, failed that test. Now we're printing bullish divergence. Now, this could certainly go lower. Absolutely, it could certainly go lower. But we're starting to see the potential for some sort of a relief rally, some sort of a bounce. And if this bounces up and you're looking for an opportunity to get out of your Solana position, you could de-risk maybe around $15, maybe around $20. We're currently around $11, or we're currently around $12. Right. So if we get a little bit of a relief rally here, look to de-risk, and I'll throw on the short margin pressure levels off of our last local high. And a really good level to de-risk would be a retest of this $19.40 region. Right. So rather than sell at $12, yes, this could go lower, but we're oversold. We could get a little bit of a relief rally and a retest, and then you could sell up at a much higher price, approximately, I'd say probably 80% higher. Yeah, 70% higher. Okay. So those are your options. Alternatively, if you don't have any exposure to Solana, or even if you do have exposure to Solana, you could actually buy down your average price here. Let's say you accumulated Solana in this region, totally reasonable with prior support. This FTX collapse caught a lot of people off guard, myself included. I'd say all the people that are saying they saw it coming are, hindsight is 2020, right? But if you accumulated in this region, in the $20 to $40 region, you could just buy down your price and start accumulating. Again, our easy bands here, right? We're very oversold. Is Solana going to bounce back next market cycle? Probably. I would say probably. When's the next bull market going to be? I have no idea. No idea. However, I do think there's going to be another bull market in the future, hopefully in 2023, if not probably 2024. And you could just be buying down your position or accumulating Solana at these super, super cheap prices. Remember, Cardano looked awful. But off of its accumulations from below the green easy bands, it was the best time to buy it. The best time to buy it was when Cardano looked dead in the water. Right now, Solana looks dead in the water. It's probably the best time to buy it, assuming it bounces back, which I think that it will. All right, I hope this video was helpful.
All right. So someone in the chat said, one of the projects is going to ETH. The only information I found about this was that they were giving people, they were explaining to people how they can purchase DeGods with Ethereum. I haven't read anything confirmed that says they're going to ETH. So if anyone has a link they want to share, please feel free to.
Let's confirm some like button up in here, because we ain't got enough likes.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and bring our guests on. So one of these guests has been on our show in studio, actually, and the other one has never been on our show. So we are super excited to bring them on together. These are Crypto Keeper and Blockchain Crusader from Debate Crypto. What is going on, my peoples?
What's going on, guys?
Miguel, so we forgot. By the way, I'm sorry. Can I refer to you guys by your government names, or would you like me to keep it Crusader and Keeper?
Oh man, you're messing with me now. Come on, Crusader and Keeper, you got this, bro. You can do it.
Done.
I got faith in you.
All right. Now, Crusader. When Keeper was in the studio, he took his shirt off, and we forgot to say stipulation to join the show today. We'll take it. Awesome. Well, first and foremost, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Do you mind? And doesn't matter which one of you wants to talk, but do you mind talking to our community about your channel and what you guys do and what they can expect when they hop over and watch one of your videos?
Miguel, it's your first time on, bro. Give the people
right.
what they want.
So, right, we come from Debate Crypto, right? We started that show to debate every narrative here in crypto. Our whole motto is question everything, trust nothing. And that's what we focus on, right? We focus on really digging into the narratives, reading in between the lines, and covering that type of news. And, we've done debates on any topic from XRP to Bitcoin. We do all kinds of conversations that need to be had in this space, and we bring anybody on that is on any side of any crypto, whether we like them or not, right? I'm a big XRP hater, but I'll bring on any XRP maxi on to talk about it, because we're not about censorship. We're not about, cutting out the conversation. We're about having the conversations that are difficult.
Yeah, and also I want to throw in there a good example of that was Miguel and I were totally dead set against NFTs at first. And once we started having the conversations and really diving into the NFT space, we now have an NFT project. We actually have a mint going on tonight. We can talk about that maybe later, but not trying to shill right now, but just saying, like, those conversations are fruitful. And I think too many times we've talked about this in studio. Too many times everyone tries to just, cancel culture, shut it down, can't have that conversation. And we don't want to live like that. And we want to just bring light to the fact that you can and should be having conversations, and everybody doesn't need to think the same way. So that's a lot of what we focus on.
And that's why I love you guys so much, is because that's the premise of, why we bring so many people from the crypto community on our show, is because, the last thing we want to do is for even our audience to just listen to what we have to say 24/7. So we love bringing in fresh perspective. Maybe they'll agree with what you guys are saying. Definitely no one agrees with what Robin says, including myself. So, guys, we got 250 people watching. Make sure you go support Debate Crypto. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link is in the bio. Let's get into some content here, gentlemen. So I want to talk. So we're gonna do a little update on FTX. I want to get your guys' thoughts, and then we're gonna dig into DCG a little bit.
I love FTX.
Yeah. It's a gift that never stops giving. So I'm going to swap over here. And the first thing we're going to talk about is FTX owes over $3 billion to its 50 biggest creditors per the bankruptcy filing.
Damn.
Now, here's the thing. So these are the actual court documents, but as you can see, the names have been redacted. But the number one creditor they owe money to, $226 million. $226 million. So I want to throw
who's that too?
What's up?
Does it
well, no. The names are redacted, so we don't know the names. We don't know the names. So if you guys want to speculate, and I'll throw it to Crusader first. You guys want to speculate on? Well, first I want to know what your thoughts are on this whole situation. Then I want you to, if you want to speculate on who you might think that is, or what do you think is going to happen, feel free. Crusader, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, dude. So my whole speculation on this is that it was all planned, right? This is a pre-planned attack on crypto to bring crypto regulations in hot and heavy, right? Nobody wanted regulations. Now everyone is begging for regulations. Everybody's talking about regulations. We need regulation. We need to protect the people. This can't happen ever again. The fact that this FTX exchange just rose out of nowhere at lightning speed, became the biggest thing around, one of the second biggest exchange in the world, right? Second biggest donor to the Democratic Party. And now there's this massive implosion. The SEC had meetings, right? Gary Gensler was meeting with this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried. And now out of nowhere, magically everything collapses and nobody knew it. And now everyone's talking about regulations and the government is stepping in, and, everybody wants protection, right? I saw somebody tweet about this. This is the 9/11 of crypto. Right. At first, nobody wanted to go to war. And then after 9/11, everybody was begging for war. Little did they know the actual, facts behind everything happening. So this is exactly that.
And Crusader, just on your point, okay, he wasn't just meeting with SEC. He was also meeting with the Fed. So this is from Jerome Powell's calendar. This is tweeted by Ben Armstrong from BitBoy Crypto, which, by the way, he just crossed 1 million subscribers or followers on Twitter. So congrats to him. On February 1st, they had a meeting with SBF, Brett Harrison, their general counsel. Why is, right, FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange, meeting with the chair of the Federal Reserve? Does that make any sense to you? They don't make regulation. They don't make laws, right?
And they, at the same time, nobody investigated them, right? So many meetings with these guys, with this people, and nobody looked into the company, nobody looked into the finances, nobody looked into the details of what was happening behind the scenes, right? You're just meeting with this stranger and not talking about what they're actually doing in their business.
What are your thoughts, Keeper?
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know whether, so I will not give Sam Bankman-Fried or anybody on staff at Alameda a pass. That's for sure. I do question though, and wonder was he a pawn? I've talked about this a couple times. Was he a pawn in the government's larger game? Did they basically bring him in? And this is just kind of something that I've been questioning. Did they bring him in and say, listen, if you play ball with us, we'll play ball with you. Now, did they not tell him, hey, by the way, part of playing ball is you're going to be the scapegoat at the end of this, right? Or did the full conversation happen that, hey, we are kind of aligned. We're thinking the same manner. There's this Venn diagram. I actually have it pulled up on my phone right now. And it goes Democratic Party with an arrow down to the Biden administration, over to Ukraine, and then Ukraine uses FTX uses partners with FTX, and then Sam Bankman-Fried is donating money, massive amounts of money, like Crusader just said, over to the Democratic Party. And it's like this big cyclical motion of just money moving around. Some would call it, hate to say it, money laundering. And so the question becomes, was the discussion had, this is how we're going to move money? I don't know about if it goes that far. You'd like to hope that it didn't go that far. But the other side of it is, did the government say, hey, listen, we've got a 30-year-old kid. We're going to make sure that he is a billionaire. We're going to make it happen fast. And then we are going to crush him, like Kevin O'Leary would say, like the cockroach that he is. And then, utilize him to push forward the narrative that they want, which is crypto is bad. You need to have, all of your money with, legacy finance. I don't know. And I think that we probably won't, unfortunately, find out, because when it goes this high into the government, when you have on your calendar, meetings between the Fed and a private company like this, there's there's definitely probably things that happen in these meetings that you're never going to find out about, because people end up not walking the streets any longer after they blow the whistle on something like that.
Keeper, I've said this on our show. At this point, no conspiracy would surprise me because of what's been going on. But I love, Crusader gave me a segue. You just gave me a beautiful segue. Look who just filed for a trademark for a digital wallet. JP Morgan Chase
surprise.
officially registers a cryptocurrency wallet trademark. You talked about, hey, was this a whole ploy to prop someone up and then crush him to get to kind of get traditional finance to take over crypto? The institution, JP Morgan Chase, has registered a trademark with the USTPO, called JP Morgan Wallet, seeking to offer a crypto wallet for digital currency exchange, transfer, and custody. The trademark was granted by USPTO on November 15th. So this is
and don't get it twisted. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Dave.
No, you're good.
Don't get it twisted either. They've had JPM coin, so JP Morgan Chase has been into the blockchain space already. It's almost as if there's this coordinated move that's happening, and that's where, like what Crusader was saying, like there seems to be some sort of a game plan. We've got all in the same couple weeks. We've got this happening with JP Morgan. We have the FTX thing obviously happen. We've got the New York Fed rolling out a 12-week pilot program for CBDCs, and all of these are just magically happening at the same time. It's almost as if they were ready for something. I don't know.
Yeah. And to be fair, you guys mentioned that SBF was the second largest donor. Well, one of their CEOs, their co-CEOs, was also a large donor to the Republican Party as well. So obviously, it being Sam Bankman-Fried, he being the face of it, of course, he's going to get more of the limelight, right? But
do you know what those numbers are?
No.
Well, I'm not in the camp that it's a big conspiracy with the political parties. I kind of see
you think it was an accident?
I think that they were paying the Democrats to get favorable legislation and for the SEC to turn a blind eye. But I don't think that the government was spearheading and you know what, everything you said kind of actually is plausible. I think there's merit to it. I could see a scenario that played out, and yeah, honestly, it probably wouldn't even surprise me. Maybe surprise me a little bit, but I don't think it'd be shocking if that was what happened. But I think it is what it is. I think what happened was you had FTX trying to get more market share, get favorable legislation that helped them grow even larger, and perhaps even legislation that would be favorable for them to continue the practices that they were doing and mitigating their risk to getting caught. And then And I think it worked to some regard, right? I mean, because the SEC didn't open up an investigation against them. And we've heard that there's been tons of evidence coming out where projects and individuals have blown the whistle on FTX, but yet there was no public investigation or no investigation announced publicly. And so I find it deeply concerning. And, that's unfortunately kind of how the government works with when it comes to lobbying and donations, is that you do get a favorable outcome when it comes to regulatory issues. As far as like what is compared to, I know you referenced 9/11, but there is so many parallels that line up with FTX's collapse that you can see back in Enron. And Enron, they had a lot of legislation. They were the biggest.
Did you see their pitch deck? Enron's pitch deck is eerily similar to Alameda's pitch deck.
They were the number one, not number two, but they were the number one donor to Bush Jr.'s campaign when he got elected. And there was all kinds of favorable things that passed for them.
It's called lobbying, my friend.
Yeah,
it's called lobbying.
So one thing that like changed the game for Enron is they had something. The SEC had passed a law or a rule or that they could go what's called mark to market, and that at the time was like game changing. And so when you went mark to market, it was basically you could take any investment, say it's spread across 20 years. You could say, hey, somebody's gonna invest, or somebody's gonna this partnership or this deal is worth $20 million over the next 10 years. You could write it on the books as $20 million today, boom, and that adds into your company's valuation. And so they used that to grow and scale because even if the deals fell through, they would still be on their books, even though like they ended the partnership. And then what ended up happening was after the fact, after they blew up and went under, it was seen that, hey, they passed favorable regulation because Enron lobbied the politicians and got these and it just also so happens the SEC passed legislation that helped them out. And the SEC, the chair at that time, was also appointed by Bush Jr. So Gary Gensler is appointed by the Democratic Party, and so it's just like what they were trying to do, in my opinion, was get legislation that helped them become more fraudulent and larger, in the exact same way that Enron did the same thing in the past. But the difference was Enron actually achieved it, and they got the regulation passed, and FTX seemed like they were in the process of, and then CZ blew the whistle, blew the whole thing up.
Yeah, I think the big difference, so all you said is very valid, and I agree with everything you're saying there, but I think the big difference between that situation and the situation we're in now is the fact that FTX crypto is a massive threat to the United States government and to the financial system, right? People have an escape from the matrix, right? From the financial system being your own bank. And that is a massive threat that needs to be dealt with. And now the narrative has shifted to, you even hear Karen O'Leary had been talking about it for a while, saying that they need institutions. They need the markets to crash. And when the markets are fully crashed, institutions can step in, take over, control everything, and protect the people. And I think that is the big difference between the previous event and this one, is that previous event wasn't a threat to the U.S. government and the traditional status quo versus this is, and now this is shaking up the space forever, and it will change how regulation is dealt with, and will push more towards the CBDC, we're the government and we're here to help situation.
I hope that's what happened. I will say that there was some favorable things that came from the Enron's rise. So before Enron, they were about energy, and they were like the largest gas company, and so it was all run by the government. So there wasn't private companies running utilities, and so they changed that whole space, and now you have privatized companies running utilities, and so. After the collapse, also, there was all kinds of, you could say, favorable transparency and regulation that came afterwards. So I'd like to think that after the FTX blow up, that we'll be in a better spot. And I hope that the government doesn't take this as an opportunity to, really screw us over because they don't like crypto.
About? You hope the government
I hope they don't, man.
Take
I'm telling you.
Okay, yeah.
I'm telling you. Hey, I have a positive outlook.
Yeah, CBDC trials on live.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
no matter what way this actually played out in the background, the one thing that I will say is there is not a chance that big business with hundreds of millions and billions of dollars flooding into a business that is going to be the future of how, our money, operates and flows and the velocity of money. There's not a chance that somebody didn't look at these books and see a problem. Not a chance. And so that's where I kind of get like the SEC and the Fed, and they all claim to be, here for you, they say, that they're here for the people and that they're trying to get things sorted out and get inflation under control and all these things. Like, on its face, it was very obvious once the books got opened up that Alameda the FTX was so heavily over leveraged. Let's take it one step further. Alameda had no liquidation point. They were able to leverage trade, Alameda specifically, on FTX because they were then the market maker, right, and the exchange. Alameda, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but had no liquidation point. So they could leverage trade and never get liquidated. So they could just sit there, leverage, let the price run around, never risk getting liquidated. And at the point that it went favorable for them, take profits. It's was called God mode, bro. Criminal. God mode. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
we talked about it on Thursday or Friday, dude. It's insane.
Up, down, down, left, right. AB, select star, bro. They put the cheat code on, bro.
That's right. That's right.
You mentioned hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. Well, a lot of VC firms, right, have taken. Magic Internet Money's in here. He's actually joining us tomorrow. We're super stoked for him to come on the show.
What up, Magic?
What's up, Magic?
What's up, man?
Never met the guy, but I'm excited. So you mentioned millions and billions of dollars. VC firms have been getting wiped out from 3AC to, now we're talking about all of the cascading effects of FTX. Well, there is one company, a large one, that is looking to jump into crypto right now. So Man Group plans a crypto hedge fund despite the market turmoil. The world's largest publicly traded hedge fund manager, Man Group PLC, plans to launch a cryptocurrency exclusive fund early next year. The dedicated fund will be approved for investors only after the company assesses it for counterparty risks. Now, I want to get your general feel of this, and B, do you think VC money in our space is good and needed, or is it bad and we don't need it?
I will say the timing of this is interesting because FTX blew up a lot of retirement and savings money from Canadian hedge funds and retirement accounts as well. So there was tons of people that have lost their retirement because of FTX debacle. So very interesting.
What are your thoughts, Keeper? Do you think we need VC money, or it's good, or you think it's terrible?
Man, I think it's going to end up being a necessary evil. I think that we've been talking about wanting, the big money to come in for so long, but what people I think for a while weren't really thinking about and really playing the tape through was that the big money brings with it big time regulations, big time problems, and they all think like legacy financial people. They're not here with a crypto-centric mantra. They're here, how can I make as much money as fast as I can, get in, get out, get in, get out. They are playing games with money, right? It doesn't, that you are a number on a balance sheet, period, and stop. And so, though I think it's going to be important for the market cap and for some of these projects to be able to continue to possibly grow depending on what assets we're talking about, I think at the same time we also have to understand that with that comes the bad things that a lot of people don't want. With that comes massive centralization. With that comes some of the regulations that people are going to not really love too much. With that comes them trying to beat up on computer protocols like Tornado Cash. With that comes all of these other things. So while I think it's a necessary evil, it's that to me. I mean, I think you got to have it to get to the market cap of where people see Bitcoin going. But I think there's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises along the way, and most of those bumps and bruises are going to be to the retail investor. They're not going to be to the big money, because guess what? That's just life. And as my dad always told me, life's not fair.
It's interesting.
Wait, life's not fair.
Just to, it's interesting that a lot of people think that, or a lot of the crypto degens, that our space is going to grow, take over the world, but yet institutions are not going to touch it. Like it's an integral part. If you're gonna take market dominance on the financial stage, and you're gonna be the leader in how money moves, or how value is transferred or stored. You're gonna have a seat at the table, because right now that's where most of the money is stored and moved, is by institutions. So the thought that these people are like, well, I got into for crypto for DeFi and I don't want to see, it's coming, man. You just got to figure out what it's gonna look like.
Also, we have a very special person in the chat. Caroline Ellison is in here. The former CEO of Alameda says, who needs math? Interesting. Crusader, what are your thoughts? Same question. Do you think it's necessary and a good thing that VCs are in crypto, or do you think we don't need them and it's a bad thing?
Well, it's not that it's necessary. It's just that it's inevitable, right? It's only necessary, like Keeper said, because he holds large bags of XRP and he's off with the traditional finance system. So he wants his bags to be pumped, right? But that's the sad reality. People that want their bags pumped need VC money to go to the moon tomorrow, to get rich tomorrow, and be able to buy that Lambo tomorrow, right? That's what the XRP community has been waiting for the last 4 years, and they still haven't gotten it. But that's a different story for a different time. So, like I said,
are you throwing
I
shade
don't
at
think
the
it's
XRP
necessary.
community, bro?
It's just inevitable. Oh yeah,
are you kidding me? That's like his. He lives for throwing shade at the XRP community.
If you remember here, put an XRP emoji in the chat, and I want to see where my XRP people
Crusader,
are.
You are outnumbered
XRP,
3-1 here, my friend.
It's fine, dude. XRP was the first segment freed of the crypto space. It was the Trojan horse into crypto to bring the traditional finance system in.
XRP might just save the entire crypto industry from Gary Gensler. We'll see what happens.
I'm actually not a big XRP fan. I like the court case is gonna be so pivotal, but
pivotal.
Not big in the chain or the technology. I mean, I like the technology. I think,
dude, XRPL is legit, man. They're legit, dude. I was like you, Crusader. In the beginning, I was like, it's not really exciting. They're in a lawsuit.
I'm not doubting their technology. They're as legit as the traditional finance system. They will continue making debt slaves for eternity. No doubt about that.
I can see where your upsettedness comes from. All right. I want to move on to digital currency group, Genesis. We've been talking about this for all last week. So DCG, Digital Currency Group, founded by Barry Silbert, who was one of the, not original, but one of the early investors in Bitcoin. And then he created what's called the Digital Currency Group, which is an umbrella of a big, massive company. I think the last valuation came in over $10 billion. Supposedly $40-50 billion company. They have tons of companies in the umbrella, namely Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, Foundry, Luno, and of course, Genesis Global Trading, which is now in talks of going towards bankruptcy. Well, apparently, DCG owes Genesis $1.1 billion, and that's where they're trying to raise the $1 billion for. DCG did bail out Genesis to the tune of, I believe it was $1.2 billion after the Luna and 3AC debacle. They also, after finding out that Genesis was in the hole for $175 million from FTX, DCG gave him $147 million, which was about $30 million off from what they really needed. So rumors started. Is DCG going insolvent? Are they going under? I did some digging yesterday, and I got a timeline of events I'm going to go over with you guys, and I want to get you guys' opinion on what is happening and the whole Grayscale thing, all right? So let's start here. Let's start with DCG. This is from their direct website. These are currently their portfolio of digital assets. They hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Decentraland, Filecoin, Horizon, LivePeer, and Zcash.
Oh, I love Zcash.
They got
Here
Zcash?
are their portfolio.
That surprises me.
What surprises you?
That they hold Zcash because it's a privacy token
coin?
And yeah, I didn't even. Sorry, I didn't cut you off. Go ahead.
Maybe they're no, you're good. Maybe and yeah, if you guys have a thought pops into your mind, feel free to jump right in. So they might be hedging their bets. Who knows? So this is their portfolio of companies. Okay. Massive portfolio, right? So blockchain registry, they have Bitmark, they have MadHive, Provenance, their subsidiaries, like I mentioned, I did forget CoinDesk, Grayscale. They also have money in Block, Cobalt, Elemental, their exchanges, CoinFlex, FTX, of course, and then Luno, which is what they acquired from Singapore. gaming, big time studios, Decentraland, Horizon. I mean, the list just goes Chainalysis, Civic, Elliptical.
They own
Elliptic.
Etherscan too.
Yeah. So this is a massive company.
Biggest company you can argue. Yeah, biggest company in crypto.
Yeah, I mean, this. I'm not going to read all of them, but just I mean, like here, right? So
it goes and goes and goes.
It goes and goes. So I want to. Here's a timeline of events. Okay, we're going to start March 10th, 2021. Now I want to preface this by saying, company buybacks are very common in the traditional world, right? They do it because they want to inflate the price, or they want to, if they expect demand to get in, they want to take supply away to shoot the price up. And also, to bring more value in form of dividends to their shareholders. So here, this is from Business Wire. This is dated March 10th, 2021. DCG has authorized a purchase of $250 million worth of shares of GBTC. This is dated May 3rd of the same year, 2021. So just 2 months later, DCG is planning to buy an additional $557 million of shares of GBTC. Then we move on to June of this year, June 21st, 2021. DCG has authorized a purchase. Last year, my apologies. Has authorized a purchase of up to $50 million of their Grayscale ETC trust, Ethereum Classic Trust.
So DCG is buying crap tons of Bitcoin at market highs, right?
I'm going to get to that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
This is essentially the height, kind of the beginning of the height of the second big run up to 70K. Okay.
Yep.
Next, we have October 20th, 2021. ECG has authorized a purchase of a total of $1 billion worth of shares of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust.
That's literally the peak right there.
November 18th, DCG announced a completion, right? So this is where, they spent all this money, right? I'm creating a timeline here. They spent all this money. November 18th, 2021, DCG announced the completion of a debt capital raise providing, let me go this way. Sorry. A stupid thing on the side. Providing a credit facility up to $600 million. And Barry Silbert said, quote, "This financing strengthens our ability to respond dynamically to opportunities in the market." I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to ask you, Robin, first. Company buybacks are not anything crazy, right? Like, it happens all the time. Apple, Microsoft, Google, like everyone does it. Are you surprised at how much of their own stock these guys bought of not just a Bitcoin trust?
Okay, not just Bitcoin trust, but that's the thing. They're just buying Bitcoin. But and if DCG wants to buy Bitcoin, why not support their own subsidiary company, Grayscale, and just buy the trust there instead of trying to buy and custody it themselves, right? Keep it in the ecosystem. And also, it goes to show you that Grayscale has the largest Bitcoin wallet, right? Or the largest active, the largest active Bitcoin wallet. And so maybe they got there because DCG was just funneling all their money into it to make it appear to be larger than what it really is as far as external investments. Not discounting the fact that, Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. It still has its value. And so if they bought it, they still hold it. If they didn't sell it, it's still there. So it's not like they lost money, but obviously you're way down this year. I will say that DCG has been around since 2015. And when did they start the trust? Was it 2012?
2013.
2013. And so Digital Currency Group has been dollar cost averaging. Yeah, those are big purchases, probably the biggest purchases as of recently. But they've been buying, since the onset of the trust. And if you go to Grayscale's website, you pull it up and you look at their PDF paper that gives you the breakdown of the trust from the start of it. They're up 29,000% on Bitcoin. And so how much Bitcoin did they buy? Instead of buying $1 billion at the top, what if they bought $500 million when it was 1,000. You get what I'm saying? I think that, you know,
instead of buying shares of their trust, right, that were floating around already.
Yeah, I just think that they don't discount DCG. They are literally the biggest company. I'm not saying that they're not exposed to some risk. Obviously, they've mismanaged money. They've invested in FTX. They've invested in Luna. Their Genesis is teetering on bankruptcy. They've funneled tons of money into Genesis to try to keep them propped up. They've already said they're not going to put any more money into it.
They're
because
a big
of
company.
the fear.
Okay, now before I send it over to Keeper and Crusader, okay, there's one more news following this timeline. So this is from Yahoo Finance. This is March 2nd of this year. DCG announces $250 million repurchase of all their shares. And here's the breakdown. So 30 million of the Litecoin Trust, 10 million of Horizon, 10 million of the Zcash, up to an aggregate total of 200 million worth of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, their large fund, ETC, Ethereum, and Stellar Lumens. DCG plans to use cash on hand to fund the purchases and will make the purchases on the open market. So they raise a $600 million credit facility, right? Back in November of last year. And then March of this year, so 5 months later, they spent $200 million rebuying their own shares. What are your thoughts on that? Crusader, I'll ask you first. Did they make a massive mistake? Just share your thoughts and your general thoughts.
Yeah, in general, I think, you know, it sounds a lot like the MicroStrategy method, right? You just keep buying, but at the same time, right, like Robin was saying, was if they've been around since 2014, 2015, and they've been buying at $1,000, $2,000, the amount of money that they have thrown around into the market already, they're so deep in the green that even if they were buying local tops, right, it's almost just like a dollar cost average, and they're still not going to be losing money in the long run. So I think they're just, you know, holding on. Well, have they been putting some money into Genesis and Genesis isn't working out? Sure, but I think they're working more like a kind of like the Shark Tank scenario, right, where you invest in a lot of different companies, you try to grow as many companies as possible. Some will fail, some won't make it, but a lot of others will, and you've, you know, averaged out your risk where you're not going to go insolvent. And a lot of these companies, man, they have so much money, all they run is on debt. They're just constantly pulling out debt on top of debt, and they can just keep the system going that way. I mean, that's how our entire government works, is just pulling out more debt and just stealing from the future people, right? So the debt can keep growing forever and they never go insolvent. So I think that's kind of how they've mixed it in. They've done a little bit of MicroStrategy, where Michael Saylor approach. They've taken the approach of the Federal Reserve and just getting some more debt involved and growing that and just growing their capitals in the same time, like Shark Tank, just investing in a lot of different companies, and some will succeed and some won't.
What are your thoughts, Keeper?
I mean, I was just kind of looking into something real quick, and you know, basically what it looks like from just a quick little glance into this, that basically DCG like would have to sell some of the, possibly if all of these numbers, you know, work out, they'd have to sell some of the companies in their portfolio. But what am I hearing? What is that?
Oh, sorry.
Let's hear like a soccer game plan.
I was checking the score.
Are you watching a soccer game during the stream? What?
Are we watching a soccer game, or are we talking?
I was checking the score. Okay?
He's like, forget my own show.
Hey, USA,
I'm watching
bro.
soccer.
USA 0 and Wales 0. Okay, I had to check. Okay,
Would have won if we should fire Robin.
All of a sudden, I'm hearing yeah, and I'm like, are people cheering for me? Am I doing that good of a job? This is fantastic.
You are. You're doing great, my friend.
I gotta tell you. But yeah,
right,
so
go ahead,
you would think that Grayscale, I think Genesis and Luna would be like their top, the DCG's like top priorities. But looking farther into this, they'd have to liquidate a lot of assets to make the $1 billion or whatever they'd have to offset. But, and this is the big but, who always gets bailed out when things get wild, right? These massive companies that have deep ties with our government. Well, guess what? Is the digital currency group, DCG, too big to, are they one of those companies that's too big to fail? Like, what's the one up out in China? It was like Evergrande, I think is what it was called, right?
Yeah.
And they said, are they too big to fail? I think it's kind of one of those where it's like,
no,
you know,
I disagree. I'm sorry. I'm going to disagree. I think you're comparing apples to oranges.
They have going on.
Nah, okay, I don't think the government gives a shit about digital currency group. They literally have almost no exposure to traditional finance. They look at our space as a joke, right? If
no.
you know.
Oh
hell yeah! With the current state of our market, they're looking at our space.
If they looked at it
money.
If they looked at it as a joke,
they're looking at it as a joke.
There's massive amounts of money.
Let me remind you, Keeper. You also said that the government wanted to bring it down, right? They wanted to push crypto down to bring people back in. Well, why would they bail out a big crypto hedge fund?
What do you mean?
Because then they can own them.
For sure.
I do not see that happening.
So I don't know that
it's all about
see
control,
an
man.
actual.
It's all about control.
I don't know. I was about to say I don't know that I see an actual bailout. But I guess what I'm getting at is who are the people involved in the digital currency group? How deep do those ties run? Who do they have other dealings with? Because a lot of times what ends up happening is all these. How if you look at like Grayscale and BlackRock, and if you really look at what they own and it funnels down, they freaking own everything, right? And so some of these may not on their face seem like they make any sort of a difference to, let's just say, our government. But if you dive deeper into all of the different business dealings that they have and how they affect other companies, I think the question, could be brought up, like, is this one of those situations where they are in business, they are in bed with the right people, and they're going to get bailed out anyway? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there that it's something to think about. We see a lot of these massive companies that they see a massive opportunity to control and to make more money. And ultimately, if they can control people, make more money, and they can give themselves the opportunity to have exposure to the crypto space while still holding it down, I think they do it. I don't know. I think it's an interesting idea.
What are your thoughts, Rob? Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah. The government's trying to,
if they go under, they'll try to bail them out.
No, I think right now we saw what happened with England with the situation where, hey, the economy is struggling, the bailouts or the help for the rich or the institutions, it's a stain on the government if they were to try to bail them out. And so for that reason, I think there's going to be no bailouts in the same way that the Fed is not going to print any money in the short term right now, in this little window that we're at, because inflation is so high. If, for example, DCG were to go under or they were to have some insolvency issues and needed a bailout from daddy government, if this were to happen 6 months from now, when inflation is at target range, if we get there, and perhaps there's a little bit more money floating around in the system that they can throw around, sure. Right now, hell no. I'm telling you, they ain't bailing out nobody. And so DCG, if they're having issues, they need to tread water. But then again, I mean, FTX had meetings with Jerome Powell, and so how many meetings has DCG had with the Fed?
That's what we don't know.
And so,
and to Keeper's defense,
we can actually look. We can see
probably a lot.
And to
you're only going to see the official meetings. You're not going to see all the little dinner parties that they go to, right? Who they actually know, all the people behind the scenes, all the backdoor deals.
Gentlemen, I have a 17-month-old that I'm going to try to sit in here on my lap for a minute because my wife is not back yet, and she's starting to really get antsy. So I apologize, but she takes priority. Give me a second.
We love babies. So just to tell y'all why the game pulled up was that I found this. I was looking at articles to see if there was anything that blew up recently since we started streaming. So USMA. So this was an interesting article. FIFA World Cup 2022. The Portugal's fan token and Argentina's fan token has been pumping, and so they're trying. They've both over doubled. Anyway, so that got me into it. I was like, oh shoot, US is playing right now. Let me check out the score, and then.
So can you at least give us an update since you stopped?
0-0. So not only is do we have keeper in house, but the goalkeeper for the U.S. is also doing his job right now. So I'm done with this one, Rocco. Thank you.
So all right. So there she is. Man, I miss my kids when they were that little.
Say hi. Say hi, Boogie. Say hi. This is little Addison, and Addison always reminds people to store your funds on a hardware wallet. She's got lots of ETH locked up on a hardware wallet and a little bit of Bitcoin. She wants to remind everybody today.
Yes, and we do have, actually, if you need a ledger and you haven't bought one, we do have one, and we do have a affiliate link in our description. So thank you for that.
You should get like
You're
a
welcome.
Bitcoin.
That's how we usually do it. I wasn't going to tell them that we had our link under our video. I didn't think that was probably appropriate.
We're never bringing those guys on again. Just
You
kidding.
should get you've seen like those Bitcoin that they have like the wallet address
The physical.
engraved in the physical one. You should get one of those and then incorporate it into a pacifier. And then
What
This is a
the? Yeah,
great
baby.
idea, but I
That's
need to
the
get this
dumbest
thing-
idea.
I need to
No,
get
I'm
this thing
serious.
away from her, dude. I don't want her
Yeah.
to keep sucking on it. You know
That's
what I
the
mean?
dumbest idea. On top of that, that stuff
that would
gets
be
lost
that
so
would be an
easily.
amazing pacifier. I'm just saying.
A couple things. Okay, so a couple more things on GBTC, and then people are saying the markets are tanking. Bitcoin's at 15.7.
It is. I'm checking it out.
Yeah, and so there is news about the hacker moving $200 million worth of ETH and is dumping it on the market. We'll go over that in a second. But again, I want to get back to Grayscale. So we know they were buying crap load of their own shares back, and so I took a look at their chart here, and this is from whitecharts.com. Okay, so this is the GBTC discount or premium to the NAV, the net asset value. And here is when they started buying, right? March. And guess what? That's the same time where the discount versus premium, it went to a discount. It went negative. It went negative 4%, it's kind of stayed steady, and then now it's sitting at negative 45%. Another thing of interest I want to show you guys. So GBTC is currently trading at $8.20, but I wanted you to pay attention to this volume here, okay? Look at the average volume. Let's just go back to the beginning of September, right? 3 million, 2 million, 4 million. The highest has got to, I think, was 6 million, right? 5 million. And then look since November 8th, 13 million, 17 million, 10 million, 14 million. And then you have a couple down days, and 11 million, 12 million, almost 10 million. So
Dollar cost average, baby. They know the bottom is getting close.
Well, here's the thing. The price continues to go down. So one would assume that people are dumping. Well, is it DCG dumping? We know that Kathy Wood and ARK Invest, they are by far the largest investor in GBTC. Are they dumping? So something to keep an eye on. I thought it was pretty interesting. Do you guys have any thoughts to share on that before I move on?
No, not really. I mean, it's always the same thing, right? They always make it. There's always fear in the market, right? You always think things are going lower, but there's always moves in the background that you don't know are happening, and they are happening, whether they're buying or not, right? You'll never really know until later in the next bull run. Then you'll find out that this company was dollar cost averaging, or accumulating all these assets, and then all these things were being built in the background. Then you're like, oh wow, man, I wish I would have bought that. I hope it goes back down again. So when it does, I'll be buying. And then when it comes down, all the fear and FUD comes around again, and nobody buys once again.
They were dollar cost unaveraging.
Well, here's the thing: like everybody's down, especially ARK Invest. They
are getting crushed.
They're getting crushed.
They might.
Sometimes, man, you got to sell. You got to sell your Bitcoin whether you want to or not on an institutional level, just because hey, you got to keep the lights on. The
Give people
company
the answer to.
Yeah, and so it's a little different. It sucks.
Unless you're Michael Saylor, you never sell.
That's right. I do want to give a couple shout outs to the chat though. Magic Internet Money, if he's still here, he dropped a $6.66 super chat and said keep it 100. And then also we had Broke Yoshi dropping 5 gifted memberships as well. So much love there as well.
Much love to our community. All right, so let's take a look at the markets real quick. So Bitcoin is down. Let me make this a little bigger so everyone can see a little better. So we have Bitcoin at 15,700, down 1.7% over the last 1 hour. ETH.
I want to know what everybody thinks here. Under 15K by the end of the week. You think we'll be in 14? And I'm not talking about just like a 1 hour
8 under 30
candle,
cents, dude.
But under 15K this week. And guys in the chat, let me know as well. What do you guys think? 1, if you're under 15K. 2, if it'll stay above 15K. What do you guys think?
Solana is the largest loser by the hour, by the way, in the top 20. They're down over 2% in 1 hour.
Yeah. They're the ice cream machine of the crypto world, but they're the McDonald's ice cream machine of the crypto world.
That's actually funny. That's really good. That's hilarious. So here's a piece of news I found. FTX Drainer moves 200 million in Ether. Some analysts are expecting the selling to start. The so-called FTX Drainer has transferred 200 mil to 12 different crypto wallets. This move comes shortly after the entity transferred 72 million to Bitcoin from ETH this morning using the REN network. What are your thoughts on Ethereum? And I'll start with you first, Keeper. What are your thoughts on ETH? Are we going to see a massive sell pressure from Ethereum? Are we going to see an $800-900 Ethereum? And I want you to keep in mind also, you say yes?
Yeah.
What about you?
I didn't mean, go ahead, continue. You want me to keep in mind what? I want to hear the end of what you're about to say.
You're good. Crusader, what do you think?
It's just it. You're depressed. You're like, that's it.
No, don't
I heard
say
him say that you think so, and I'm depressed.
He sounds sad.
Yeah, I think we are. I think we are going to see some really low numbers, just because, but for the same reason. I had been talking about this for a long time. I think that the markets needed to, and is that good? I think that the markets were. She's definitely got some little goldfish, so she's excited now. She just saw them on my desk. I think that the global markets and the macro condition of the world that we're in, I've been talking about this for a while, was due for like a massive capitulation. And for some people who had never been in crypto before, they say, wait a minute, we're down like 75%. Is that not enough? And the answer would be no, it's not. And we're going to see more. And I don't know how long it will be down there for. News like this, you got the combination of the FTX stuff happening with everything else going on in the world today that's unstable and questionable. Now you've got this hacker, basically with all of this ETH, and I think he's converting it. If Crusader was right earlier, I think he's converting it all into Bitcoin. So he's dumping a bunch of ETH. But at the end of the day, I want to say what I always say. Intrinsically, the value's still there. Fundamentally, nothing has changed for Ethereum, right? NFTs, right? When the prices, when the amount of ETH goes up, down, sideways, whatever the case may be, yes, it might feel like dollar value when you buy the NFT that it's cheaper or more expensive, depending on which way the market has gone. But long term, one ETH is one ETH. And I just love to remind people of that, because if you got into these crypto markets and you believe in the ethos that is crypto, continue to stack that ETH, not financial advice. Continue to stack that Bitcoin. We're going to see bumps. We're going to see bruises. We're going to see a ride. But buckle up. I can tell you it's a fun ride, especially when we start moving in the other direction. But you've got to be able to go down to come back up.
That's right. What are your thoughts, Crusader?
Yeah, man. My thoughts are, I'm going to give a massive shout out here to leading crypto, which is Magic Internet Money and CVO. They've been talking about lower levels for Bitcoin and ETH for a long time. We have them on the channel every single Thursday for TA Thursday. And they've been talking about these levels, right? $700, $750 level is the next support for Ethereum. And it, the news just coincides with what they've been talking about for such a long time already. And are we headed there now? Very possible, right? With this ETH dumping. But is it really because of what is happening, or was it because technically in the charts we were going to head there anyway, and we just need an excuse, something to point the finger at, right? With Bitcoin breaking 16,500, the next support level is 13,800. It's going to head there whether somebody is dumping Bitcoin, unless somebody miraculously starts to accumulate a boatload on exchanges and not OTC. We're gonna head to those levels. So can we head lower? Yes, that's always a possibility in crypto. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. I think that is the opportunity that crypto gives you. Is the volatility is the great aspect of crypto. The fact that it can go so high and it can come so low in such a short period of time, that is where you can make the life-changing money, right? And I'm not here to give financial advice to anybody, but I've been in for long enough and I've gone through, more than one bear market now, and it's the same thing. You can't make this type of life-changing money in the stock market because they have no volatility. A bad day is 2 to 3% down, right? A good year is up 8%. So in crypto, yes, you can drop 75% in a couple of months, and then you can go up thousands of percent in a year. So that is where the life-changing money is. People that are complaining, that are crying, right? Maybe their bags are underwater right now. It's okay. It's okay to feel that, but you need to realize and have the logical sense that It's only a matter of time before it comes back up. It can only go down so far until it recovers, right? Bitcoin is not going to go to zero. Ethereum's not going to go to zero. There's too much money and there's too much at stake behind these technologies for them to go to zero. Are they going to be volatile? Is it going to be rough? Is it going to be a long period of time of us being down here? Maybe. But this is the chance, right? These are the opportunities where, you buy when there's blood in the streets. And if you do, and you wait a couple of years when things turn around, then you're going to be the genius, right? Then everybody's going to be looking at you like, wow, I wish I would have bought when you bought, man. I can't wait for the prices to come back down again to those levels. If they do, I'm going to be buying, right? That's where you start hearing all that narrative again. But nobody wants to buy. Everybody is terrified when you are at these levels. When the opportunity presents itself, everybody wants to run. Nobody wants to take the bull by the horn. So, that's all I got to say about that. I mean, like I said, never financial advice, but these are great times that could change people's lives if you pay attention and educate yourself and do things the proper way.
What do you guys think?
I think we're gonna be heading lower. First of all, if you're kind of on this time horizon or on this price target thing, but I want to stress that we are in the depths of a bear market, and there's no indication that we're going to come out of this thing in any short-term window. So at least a year, I'd imagine, probably 2 years. And so whether or not you buy it at the very tippy top bottom right now, we were talking about Cardano earlier and the previous bull and bear market. And, it was under 5 cents for over a year. And, I think we're going to be in the same zone. So whether or not you buy Cardano at 4 cents or 1 cent, or you buy Ethereum at $1,200 or you buy it at $450, looking forward for when we get out of this and we're just, 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, dollar cost averaging in and also dollar cost averaging out when the time is right is the right practice. And right now, what a better time. I mean, we're about to be at under $15,000 Bitcoin. It was only a few months ago, or not a few months ago, it was only a year ago where we were talking about, man, if Bitcoin gets down to 20,000, I'm selling my house. Well, it's going to be half that, or at least close to it. And if not, even if it doesn't get there, even if let's just say today is the absolute bottom. Let's just say we'll never see Bitcoin cheaper than it is today. Then who cares? Buy it tomorrow. Not financial advice, but this is what I'm doing. I'm a DCA every 2 weeks. I DCA one purchase, and it is what it is. Like, if you sound so depressed, I'm not depressed. I'm depressed because I don't know why I'm depressed. I'm not depressed. I'm happy. And USA scored a goal, by the way.
Wow.
1-0. That's
wow.
Right.
Is soccer a sport? Can we get a vote on the panel? Is soccer a sport? Are we considering soccer a sport?
Ooh.
What?
Oh, shit.
Ooh. What kind of question is that,
I think it's the biggest sport in the world.
It is literally,
you can't ask the Cuban that question. I already knew what his answer was going to be.
When
I don't even play soccer. What are you talking about?
When you have soccer teams paying $200 million as a transfer fee for a player.
What does that I had to ask it because I texted that to Rob yesterday, and his panties got all up in a bunch really quickly. So
you also put it on our Twitter as well.
Stream.
Oh, yes, I did. Twitter as well.
I did. Yeah, you are correct. I did do that as well.
It's funny, obviously we all have access to our Twitter, so I'm hoping by now our community knows when it's me tweeting and when Robin, and I feel like your community definitely knows, at least when it comes to sports, when it's Crusader or when it's Keeper tweeting. So
yeah.
Did you see the tweet I put out yesterday?
No.
Take a look at this one. Rocco?
Yeah. Let me pull it out.
He's still astounded by the comment about his soccer sport. He's shaking violently.
Rocco's
right
mad
now.
at me. Everybody. So
this was I'm a big gamer at heart. So this was yesterday. I had a day off and no streaming. So
decided to
play a little Call of Duty in my downtime here.
What an idiot! Is that animal abuse or something?
Did you reload? The cat just doesn't even care. The cat just doesn't even care. Not whatsoever. That cat is super
I'm not a
chill.
cat guy.
If you're not following us on Twitter, you're gonna miss that.
Yeah. Also, follow Debate Crypto on Twitter. I believe it's let me actually pull it up real quick so they can follow you guys.
It's Debate Crypto OG, because somebody has been holding our just Debate Crypto hostage. They have no followers, or maybe one follower. We've gotten emails a while ago about basically like selling this to us, just like the, you know, like the .eth addresses that they try to sell to you. It's like, come on.
Yeah, same thing with Sin City Crypto.
Yeah,
the guy hasn't tweeted anything for 5 years.
We tried. We even offer like, we'll give you $500.
So this is go follow these guys at Debate Crypto OG. Also, go subscribe to their YouTube channel. The link to that is in the description of this video. Gentlemen, anything else you would like to share before we?
What are y'all doing for Thanksgiving? I want to know. My favorite holiday.
Go ahead, Miguel. Kick it off.
Well, tonight's our mint for our commodities drop for our Danger Close Alpha project, right, which is a prepper survivalist NFT project. And tonight's people are going to be playing for, well, they're going to be minting commodities to be gathering up resources for a 5 ETH competition that we're going to be doing. So somebody's going to be able to win 5 ETH. And hopefully, you know, with everything that's been happening in the markets being down, people losing money with FTX, this would be an opportunity for somebody to make up some of that money and really, you know, take it in for the holidays, whether they're going to use it for Thanksgiving, they're going to use it for Christmas, right? Whatever it is, we're trying to bless somebody in our community with 5 ETH. And, you know, that's what's happening tonight for us.
Thanksgiving is the worst holiday.
Can we put that in the description as well?
Yeah.
You said you have a link for that? You just email it to me, and then I'll
yeah. The link to our website, dangerclosealpha.com. It has the link to our Discord, our YouTube.
There you go.
I'll add it in.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that. And you asked, I guess you asked two things. You asked what else we got going on, what's going on for Thanksgiving. If we had any parting words, I guess I kind of have all three. Thanksgiving, I am going to be spending with family. So that's the thing to do. Everybody wants to spend, you know, Thanksgiving with family. So if you don't have family out there, I love you. I hope that you guys still have a great day, but hopefully you're having some, some little bit of food with somebody. So just doing that. I will say though, Friday morning on Black
Friday morning he's leaving to Miami, come hang out with me.
That's right. So Friday morning, so Miguel's in Miami. Oh, Crusaders in Miami, and Keeper is in Ohio, and so I'm going down there. We've got we're going to be speaking at the Decentral conference. We were trying to get you guys to come down, but I know you got other plans, you got other stuff going on. But we are going to be speaking there, so we've got some content we're going to be shooting over the weekend, and looking forward to going down there. So I'm super excited about that. I just wanted to say something to you guys. You guys are killing it. I told Rob this the other day. We have been paying attention. We always pay attention to everybody that, you know, are friends in the crypto space, and you guys have been absolutely blasting off. So for all of the Sin City crypto followers, you guys freaking rock. Thank you for having us on. I hope you guys will obviously give us a follow as well, subscribe to us as well. But you guys are doing something right, and I applaud you, because it is a bear market, right? And things are tough. It is a grind to grow right now. So just props to you guys. You guys are killing it.
We appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And we launched our channels around the same time, and it's funny, we have the same concept as far as debating, right? Because we have different viewpoints. You guys do the same, and so we appreciate the kind words, and we definitely, you know, you guys are a channel we go to for information. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Go subscribe to Debate Crypto on YouTube. The link is in the bio or in the description. My apologies. Go follow them on Twitter, and we will drop a dangerclosealpha.com. You want to go join their Discord and participate in what they got going on with their 5 ETH competition. Feel free to do so. Rocco?
Yep.
It's called a finger tornado, baby. That's how we end the show. Finger tornado me. Yes. Friends, family, friends of family, and family friends. We thank you guys so much for joining us on this Monday. Make sure to come back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On behalf of myself, Robin, Keeper, Crusader, and the Don, Rocco, we love you guys. We'll see you next time. Take care. Peace. Oh, also, we are videoing a Ledger tutorial today. Start to finish, Ledger videos are going to come out over the next few days. See you guys later. Peace.